Hey guys, Anthony here with MMA Nerd. I want to come at you with another video about why this fight matters. Tonight we're going to talk about the main event between our very tough Alex Perez, coming on a 3-fight losing streak, however, coming into this fight against Matheus Nicolau. Nicolau is a guy who originally was on The Ultimate Fighter Season 4 in Brazil. Very tough guy. Has actually been on 2 different runs in the UFC. He's had 2 losses between both of those runs. When they cut him from the UFC, he lost to the very tough Dustin Ortiz, who was on a win streak himself at that time. Dustin Ortiz, another guy who got cut from the UFC for no apparent reason, in my opinion. But hey, that's not what this video is about. Matheus Nicolau is a very tough guy. He's got wins over top contenders. He's got 1 loss on his record on this current run. He was 4 in a row and then all of a sudden lost to Brandon Royval. Royval, who is the #1 contender in the UFC's flyweight division. We have a great opponent for him in Alex Perez, a guy who's real tough. He stays in there the whole time. And he's only lost to top 10 contenders himself. So he's had losses against guys like Figueiredo. He's lost to, I believe, Alexandre Pantoja. He's had some tough fights. And so this is a guy who I think, unfortunately, the way that they've put this matchup, it looks like what they're doing is setting up Nicolau to get a big win, and really they're not anticipating much from Alex Perez. He's on a 3-fight losing streak. I don't know if maybe they're really thinking that the two are in the same place in their career. I don't know. It's really not like, oh, let's make the fairest matchup possible. What they're really looking for is 2 things. Making someone into a star, and that means having a dominant performance, or making a great fight that fans will enjoy. Now, the way these styles match up, it's hard for me to think that this is meant to be like a knockdown, drag-out brawl that fans will talk about for a long time. I think that what they're trying to do is set up Nicolau to get the win and start moving toward the top of the division. Why this fight matters is that if Alex Perez can break that losing streak, he can start to move up the rankings again. He can get some of those wins back against some of the top guys that he's lost to very recently. I don't think he'll have a fight against Davison Figueiredo anytime soon, but you never know. Maybe Figueiredo will come back down to flyweight after a loss at bantamweight. That doesn't look like it's going to happen anytime soon. He looks like he's an unstoppable juggernaut, even a weight class up from where he initially won the championship. But it could set up some real interesting matchups for Alex Perez. What I really think they are planning on is Matheus Nicolau to win and possibly set up a rematch for him with Brandon Royval. Royval has won against Brandon Moreno, but the problem is that he's already lost to our flyweight champion. The reason why Steve Erceg was put in the position he is was that Pantoja has pretty much run through the rest of the division. There's very few guys in the flyweight division who are ranked higher than Erceg and who are not coming off of a loss. And so it gets very hard for them to put someone alongside Pantoja for a believable main event or a believable co-main event title fight in the flyweight division. So I think that the winner of this fight probably gets set up to have another championship opportunity. Probably someone in the next couple fights will be in the top 5 for them to fight. I think for Matheus Nicolau, man, I would love personally to see him get the win and get a rematch with Brandon Royval. I think that it creates some interesting opportunities for Alex Perez. I'd love to see him go out on a win. I've just got to be honest. From the losing streak that he's been on, it's hard for me to imagine him coming back and winning, but people have come back from far worse. I mean, Frank Mir came back from a motorcycle accident and losing to people he should not have lost to. He lost so many fights that I think we were all kind of like, is he done? Like, is he out? Is he gone forever? Then eventually came back and surprised us all, winning the championship again. Robbie Lawler is another guy who went on a losing streak and lost fights that he should not have lost against guys he should not have even struggled against based off of where he ended up. But eventually Robbie Lawler got it all together, came back, beat Johnny Hendricks in the rematch, and became the champion and had some legendary fights. So do I think that that's possible for Matheus Nicolau? I don't know. I always thought he looked good. I was really impressed in particular with his fight against Matt Schnell. Matt Schnell, by the way, the guy that Steve Erceg beat to get his flyweight championship fight. Matt Danger Schnell is no joke. He's a tough guy, and for him to get a win over a guy like that, it's pretty impressive. And so if if Nicolau can get back to that place where he's on a winning streak, he could possibly find himself in a rematch with Royval as a title eliminator. He could possibly find himself in the position to fight another top 5 contender and get himself into a title fight. This is a guy that I really anticipate seeing in that title picture within the next year or two. He's a tough guy. He's just lost one. So we'll see what happens. Some fighters, they don't bounce back super well. We've already seen how he bounces back from losing in the UFC. His last loss was against Dustin Ortiz, and that was years ago. And so for us, that's going to be real exciting. Me personally, man, I love Alex Perez. I love the way he fights. He's pulled off some incredible submissions and knockouts. I really look forward to seeing him being able to do the same thing. I mean, he beat up on Jussier Formiga back in the day, and Formiga is another tough guy. He was at the end of his UFC career, to be fair. But man, this was the guy who pretty much put a nail in the coffin on that career in Alex Perez. So I'm looking forward to seeing it. Hope you guys enjoy it as well. But that's why this fight matters. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe, and we will see you guys next time.